thing is back on the road. Oh my God. And we are on the second night of doing some night driving. The first load that I got, it wasn't going to be ready until 2 in the morning. So that kind of started off, it kind of triggered these couple of consecutive night drives here. So yesterday I picked up the load at about 2 a.m. and then I took it all. I delivered it. It was the same day delivery, so it wasn't but maybe like 3 hours away from where I picked it up. That's where delivery was for Tractor Supply. And then from there I picked up another load in Crockett, Texas, which is kind of in between Dallas and Houston, more or less in between the two. And then that's going all the way to Nebraska. So that's where I'm headed right now. I had to stop at about, probably it was about noon yesterday when I had to stop for the day. Ran out of hours. And so from that time, starting at about noon, I had to figure out when to get some sleep and when I wanted to pick up the drive again. And it works out that way that you're going to take 10 hours to 11 hours of time off, you're going to end up doing some more night driving. So this is the second night that I'm doing night driving. Figured I'll just do something here to kind of help get the time through. It's about 3:30 in the morning right now. One of the nicest parts about driving at night is you get a lot of this, where it's pretty clear, not any traffic. This is I-35 north. Just slightly north of Dallas at this point. About to get into Oklahoma here pretty soon. You can barely see me in the camera. I am here. You can barely see me. But that's how it is out here. When it's just your headlights and everybody else's headlights that kind of light up the road. This is what it looks like. This is what you're encased in darkness, and you got to find ways to kind of keep you from going insane. You know, keep yourself aware and keep yourself from falling into a trance. So that's what it is when there's not very much lighting out here, other than your headlights and the other car's headlights and the occasional building here and there that you'll see. And a lot of I-35 once you get out of Dallas is pretty much like this, pretty dark for the most part. Like I said, a couple of gas stations, a couple of highway buildings will light up the road, but other than that, it's gonna be you and the other vehicles' headlights kind of lighting up the road. Today I'm probably gonna go about 8 hours, and then I'll take a break. And I haven't decided whether or not I'm gonna do an 8-2 split on this one, which basically means that I would take off 8 hours, finish off my drive, and then find a place to take another 2-hour break, and that'll give me a full 14-hour clock. This way I don't have to do 10 hours consecutively. I can do just 8 hours, finish off the drive, deliver the load, and then if I had to have a pickup for me, and pick up the next one, and then take a 2-hour break and get the rest of my time, get my new clock for the next day. But I haven't quite decided whether or not I'm gonna do an 8-2 split, or if I'm gonna do a 10-hour split. So that's something, or just a 10-hour normal break. I haven't quite decided. It kind of just depends on what the next load's gonna look like too, and I haven't gotten a plan for the next load, so I don't know what that's gonna look like. But one thing I wanted to talk about, and I thought I don't know if this is the best time to talk about it, but I figure why not. I did notice as I was on home time and just relaxing and kind of decompressing a little bit after being in the truck. It was good. I feel like I needed a mental break from pretty much everything, to be honest with you. Not just truck driving, but just life in general. needed a mental break, just to kind of decompress from everything, because every now and then things just they pile on you, and you feel overwhelmed with everything, and not just your occupation, but just life. And the best thing that you can do, or at least that I found for me, is just to decompress with the things that make you happy, and the things that make you that relax you. So really, I didn't do very much anything during my home time. Now I did go out of town with a friend of mine and her kids, and we went to Houston to go to the zoo there in Houston. My first time there, and that was pretty fun. I really enjoyed that trip, and I had a really good time. I always have a good time with that person, so it was nice. But that was a good way to decompress from everything, get away from everything, right? But anyways, I was keeping tabs on obviously the channel and stuff, and all of a sudden I started seeing that a couple of my videos have been blowing up on YouTube. Apparently the algorithm has decided to pick two of my shorts from and decided to hand them out to to the feeds, and they're getting a lot of play. And with that comes a lot of comments, a lot more than what I've been used to be honest. And one of the videos was one that kind of like I was looking at some of the comments, and it's really it has me wanting to open up some more discourse, and I want to go into a little more detail and give a little bit of more context to that short, because it was kind of a short video, and the video that I'm referencing is the one. Oh, we got policemen coming. Let's go ahead and move over just a little bit. Get off the road just a bit. Let the police officer go by. Woo! Yeah, oh, there's another one coming. No, it's just him. It's a single police officer. He didn't have a siren on. He just has his lights on. Anyways, that's life on the road. You never know what you're gonna see, or you never know what you're gonna have to be ready for. Anyways, so the video that I'm referencing is a short that I did about 6 months ago. I think it was about 6 or 7 months ago. I posted a short on what had happened to me at a Love's parking lot in Mount Vernon, Illinois, where I was parked and sleeping when someone rammed into my truck and damaged the whole entire left side of the hood, and it was quite an experience, right? And I took that quick little short just to show y'all the damage and just how just dumbfounded I was about the whole situation. But it was just a quick video. I didn't go into a lot of detail, right? It was short. So now all of a sudden that video is one that the algorithm picked up, and with that, it's gone up to I think about 40,000 views at this point. I think it's easily my most viewed video. I'd have to look at my other videos on the channel, but with that comes a lot more comments, and with that comes a lot more interesting comments. So for the most part, when that video first came out, I think it had like 400 views total over the course of a couple of weeks. And most of the comments that I got on that video were pretty comments that were just telling me, man, that sucks, man. I hope you get your stuff fixed, or oh, that guy's an idiot, or whatever, right? Things that I would have kind of suspected that people would have said, based on someone that damages your vehicle. Anyway, so now these God, good Lord. Anyways, so with that comes a lot more interesting comments, in my opinion, and a lot of those comments that have come through have been about what I did and what caused me to get hit. Okay, the biggest thing that I collected, there's been quite a few comments, and I'm kind of gonna try to combine them into this one thought process that I feel that a lot of these people have, is that a lot of people were blaming me as the reason that I got hit, as the reason that my truck got hit the way that it did, because of where I was parked. Because I was parked in a truck parking space, okay, that had, that's built for a truck and a trailer, okay, fair enough, right? And then I was parked towards the front of it. And what a lot of people were telling me is, in the comments, is I should have parked all the way in the back of the spot. I should have parked somewhere else, like not in that area. That because of that, that's why I got hit. So I should have learned my lesson now because of that. Okay. Here's my thought on that, and I kind of wanted to expound on this a little bit more. That guy's going really fast, but I want to expound on that just a little. He's going 110. I just got him on the meter. He's going 110. That's crazy. Okay, Jesus Christ. Anyways, again, so a couple things I wanted to address on that. One, for those of you that have recently just seen that video coming through the feed, that video is from 6 months ago. As of this time, I'm no longer in that truck, so that truck doesn't really mean a lot, much to me anymore, because it's gone. So I'm not even driving that truck anymore. So for those of you that were wondering if it got fixed, yes, it did. I drove it for another. Probably about another 4 or 5 months before I got it switched out to this new truck. But they did have to replace the entire hood. It was not a case of patching up a couple of dings. They had to replace the whole entire hood. It was extremely damaged, so they had to replace it in order for me to get back on. In order for it to look nice again, they had to replace the whole thing. So then second of all, a lot of comments that I got were about me explaining how that the truck was destroyed, and a lot of people were telling me that's not destroyed, that's just damaged. And so my explanation to that is, look, at that point in time that I was recording that, I was pretty distraught as to what had just happened, right? Literally, all of that had just happened, and when I pressed record on the phone, that was about 15 minutes after I called the police, after I talked to the police, after we did all of that, and I decided, man, this really freaking sucks. I can't believe this happened today. Like, oh my God, what the hell? So, forgive me for saying that the person destroyed the truck, whatever. At the end of the day, it was really damaged and it was really messed up, and forgive me for not being of 100% sound of mind to say extremely damaged instead of destroyed. Okay, alright. Anyways, on to the next thing. I mean, whatever. If you want to comment on that, and if you want to comment about vocabulary, that's fine. Alright, whatever. So, next thing that I wanted to address on that I thought was very interesting was about the spacing, right? So, yes, I was parked towards the front of the space, and the reason that I was parked in the front of the space like that was because this load that I was on that led me to that Mount Vernon Loves was a relay from Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I went from Minneapolis, Minnesota to Mount Vernon to relay this load. Well, that load in Minnesota wasn't going to be ready for pickup until 10 p.m. that previous evening. So that meant that I was going to have to do night driving, and I was going to have to go to distance with it because it was kind of a long drive, and that relay needed to be there at a specific time in the morning. Like, so it's not like I could have picked it up took a break, and then drove in the morning, I needed to drive overnight. So it is what it is. You have to do it. It's kind of like what I'm doing now. Anyways, so by the time I picked up and got all the way to Mount Vernon to drop this relay off, I'm out of hours. My hours are done. I can't really go very much further. I think I only had maybe like 2 hours left on my clock. I didn't have a lot of time, and I didn't have a next planned load anyways. So I knew that I was going to drop off this load in Mount Vernon, and then I was probably going to have to go ahead and just take a 10 because I can't really go very much further after that. So that's what I did. So I got to Mount Vernon at that Love's at about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and I parked my truck in a spot. And there's tons of spots because it's 8 a.m. Everyone's already gone. I think it's actually either been 8 a.m. on a Saturday or a Sunday, so there was really nobody there. But I parked it, waited for the guy, the relay guy to be there. Once I figured out where he was, I detached from the trailer, and I went and parked next to him, which is where I was parked, which is where I ended up staying, where I got hit, right? So I parked next to him, bobtail, I'm already detached from the trailer, and I parked next to him because he's attached to a trailer. So I parked literally parallel to where he was, so that I could hop out of the truck, grab the paperwork, and hand it to him. So that's what I did. I parked next to him, handed him the paperwork, told him the trailer's over here, it's over there, that's where I dropped it. And then I went back into my truck. I wasn't sure at the time. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think he may have said that the one that he was attached to was an empty. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. I don't think he had told me that it was an empty. But either way, I knew that, my day was done. So I just kind of stayed in that spot where I was. And I thought to myself, well, I don't really need to move anywhere because it's 8 a.m. and there's nobody here, or there's barely anybody here, and there had to have been at least 30 plus spots that were open there. I mean, just to the left of me in that area, there was at least I think 4 or 5 open spots to the left of me. Just to the left of me. To the right of me was the guy that I dropped off, that I gave the relay paperwork to. And then after that, I'm tired, man. I've been driving all night long. And those night drives, it's rough because, it's usually around a time that you're sleeping, so you're up instead. So anyways, I was tired. I'm ready to go to bed. So as soon as I got back in that truck and I handed off that paperwork to that dude, I put my curtains up and all that, and I went to bed. I did not mess around. I was tired. So I went to bed. So I stayed in that spot. And I had planned on staying in that spot for those 10 hours, which would have been, which 10 hours from about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning would have been about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening. So it still would have been fine because the Loves don't typically, especially a big one like that one was, doesn't really fill up until at least 8 or 9 o'clock. But it was empty. Like there was so many open spots. And typically, if I'm bobtail, right? And I'm very rarely am I bobtail. Usually I am attached to a trailer. Very rarely am I bobtail. So anyways, but if I am bobtail and I'm in a truck stop and I'm trying to end the day, I will typically park in the designated bobtail parking if the truck stop has it. If the bobtail parking is full, I don't have a choice. I will park in in a truck spot, right? I try to be courteous to people that have a trailer, but at the same time, it's like, well, if that's the only spot you can park in, then why wouldn't you park in it? I mean, come on, right? It's just, it is what it is. But in this case of this particular scenario, I am like at a time where there's so many spots and anybody can park anywhere, and there was so many like straight back spots, like where you didn't have to do to back with very much difficulty. So at the time of the accident, when it happened, I believe that was about noon. It had to have been about maybe 11 in the morning or noon. I wasn't asleep for that long. I think I was asleep for maybe 4 hours or so when I was woken up by the sounds and the motion of my truck being moved to the right. So I was like, what the hell? Like, it felt like an earthquake. I was like, what in the hell is going on? So I get up real quick. I look out the window and I see what's happening. I immediately try to press my camera in the truck so that it can record. This is before I had the dash cam running all day and all night, my personal one, but I pressed the button on the truck one to record the impact. I was hoping that maybe the impact had caught it, but anyways, so I put on my shoes real quick. I put on a t-shirt and I run out the truck as fast as I can. Of course, I can't really run out through the driver's side because it's being hit. But I get out. But by the time I get out, the guy's already driving off. I'm not going to be able to catch him on foot because he's already gone. Like, he's going. A driver that's 2 spaces next to me on the right, he sees everything. He comes on and is like, dude, that guy just hit the crap out of your truck. And I'm like, and I asked him, like, did you happen to see who he works for or anything like that? He's like, no, man, I didn't catch that. And I was like, oh, hell. Like, all right, bro. I could have tried running after him, but I'm not going to catch him. I'm not faster than a truck. I'm not faster than a truck. It would have been a waste of my time to try and run. I also wasn't going to hop in the truck and chase because I didn't know what the condition of the truck was at that point, if it was even drivable anymore. Because for all intents and purposes, he could have busted the axle, right? I don't know. I hadn't had a chance to open up the hood and see just what the internal damages were or anything like that at that point. And everything happened just kind of so fast. All I know is that the person that hit me, they were in a white truck and a white trailer, and if they had any logos, they were really, really small and they couldn't make them out. So it had to have been an owner-operator, more than likely an independent or a small company driver, because I did not have any big logos on the trailer or any big logos that you can make out who they drove for in the on the truck or the trailer. So anyways, but yeah, so okay, so I get hit, right? And I was parked in towards the front of that space. I had parked in that space as if I did have a trailer. If I had a trailer attached to my truck at that time, I would have been in the same spot of that parking spot. It wouldn't have changed. Maybe very little, right? So, sure, could I have moved my truck all the way to the back of that spot? Yeah, sure. Could I have moved it to the middle? That's fine, yeah. Here's my thing on that. Here's my thought process on this, right? I don't think there's anything, and forgive my ignorance, and please feel free to tell me that I'm completely wrong, and it's right there in writing, but in training manuals, in the license, in the course books for your driver's license to get your CDL, I don't see anything on any of those pages, anything like that tell you when you're bobtail, you have to park at the back of the space, or you can't park in truck parking spaces. And if you are going to, you need to park, you are required to park in the back of them at all times. There is nothing in writing that I have ever seen that says that's the rule. And if you don't follow it, you're going to get in trouble. I mean, we're in Oklahoma now. Yay, Oklahoma. We can gamble. So there's nothing that says that you have to park a certain way if you're bobtail. I understand there's the courtesy factor and there's the, what people like to call common sense. That's another comment, a couple of comments that I got that I was like, okay, you want to talk common sense. Common sense would tell you, I don't know, maybe don't hit the fucking truck. Maybe don't hit anybody's vehicle. If you're driving a semi-truck, maybe don't hit anybody else's vehicles, no matter the situation. I don't know. Common sense would tell me that. But I'm the one that needs common sense for parking in the front of a parking space bobtail. Okay, alright, that's fine, whatever. My thing is that regardless of if I'm bobtail or I have a trailer attached to me, I have every right to park anywhere that I want to park in a truck stop. There's nothing that says I can't. There's nothing that says you can't. You can't park in this spot if you're bobtail. You see it all the time. You go to any truck stop and drive through the truck stop, and you'll see bobtails parked all over the regular, the truck parking, because that's what it's for. Because we can't take our bobtails into the general parking areas because it's dangerous, and we take up a shit ton of space, even with the bobtail. But regardless of that, right? The bigger issue is that I feel like if I'm bobtail, as long as I have my truck parked in between the lines and I'm not sticking out on the front of the spot, like I didn't park too far out into the front, if I'm in between the lines and then I'm under the lines of the beginning of the parking space, then that means I am in between the parking space perfectly. I'm in there. I'm kind of in a safe box, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in that box, so I'm safe. I should be safe from anybody hitting my vehicle. If you hit my vehicle, it's because you made a mistake and you went into my parking spot area. And I'll tell you right now, I've been through so many truck stop parking situations at this point that I can tell you there will be some instances where when you're pulling out of a spot, it may be a little difficult to turn out of it. But most truck stops, parking areas will at least give you enough room to pull your truck out and make a turn. You may have to widen out just a little bit to clear the front of people's trucks. This guy had enough room in the spot that he was in where he didn't even really have to turn to the right to get out. He could have just gone straight. But for whatever reason, he wanted to turn to the right to get out of the truck stop or out of the spot he was in. He also made the choice to park next to me when he had about 4 other spots next to him that he could have chose from. He could have parked in a spot where he wasn't next to anybody, but he chose to, for whatever reason, whatever he did, I don't even know if he parked. I don't even know what happened. or what his thought process was, or this person could have been a man, could have been a woman. What they were, what their decision was when they parked next to me, if they even parked. Maybe they just backed up and then they realized they messed up. I don't know. I don't know what happened because I was asleep. But anyways, my thing is I feel like if I'm in the spot and as long as my truck is in between the lines in the box, I don't feel like you have the right to hit me. I feel like you are in the wrong no matter what if you decided to take that turn too narrow and you hit me with your trailer. And the thing is that person driving that truck, they didn't just hit me, like tap me, and then realize, oh no, I hit this person's truck. Let me back out and let me fix it. You know, like it wasn't a small dent. The person grinded the trailer and moved me at least 3 or 4 feet to the right. Like they moved the truck. They moved the truck. I felt it. It felt like a damn earthquake. Like what? So when you do it for that long, there's no way you couldn't have felt it. There's no way you couldn't have seen what was going on in your mirror. You definitely would have seen it. It was broad daylight, so there's definitely no excuse. Not that it being dark would have been an excuse anyways. So the only people or person that didn't use any common sense that day was the person that hit my truck. Not me. So if you want to come at me and tell me I didn't use common sense when I parked my truck that day, I'm going to tell you, you were wrong. And I think you need to reassess your situations. For those of you that are truckers and are truck drivers, I love you guys, man. We're supposed to be a family. We're supposed to be a team. We're all in this together as truck drivers. We're all trying to get the same thing out of this career, out of this lifestyle, you know? We all want to travel. We all want to make money. We all want to have a good time while doing this. Why do we do this to each other? Why do we bicker with each other? Why do we say things that don't make any sense? You know, like at the end of the day, you don't hit anybody. Don't hit anybody else's truck. That's all I can say. I don't go out there and say, well, because look at how that guy parked his bobtail, well, I'm just going to go and hit the shit out of it. Out of principle. Why? Why do you have that mindset? And I know that there's some people out there that do have that mindset. And it's a very malicious and a very aggressive kind of mindset that I don't agree with. I think it would matter more if you have a problem with how somebody parked their truck. I think it would matter more. I think it would mean a lot more if you walked out of your truck, knocked on their door, and asked them, "Hey, can I ask a question? You know, why did you park this way? If you don't mind me asking, because you're kind of wrong, or you're not parked correctly. I just wanted to know. I don't know if you knew that, or if there's a particular reason why you're parked this way." The person might tell you to fuck off. They might tell you, "Oh, well, whatever, I didn't care." You know. But at least you'd have a better feel for why they did what they did, instead of just saying, "You know what? I'm feeling like I'm just gonna hit their truck because whatever." Out of some kind of weird principle that if you park wrong, you're just gonna be able to. You have the right to hit somebody's truck. I don't think you do. I think that's kind of messed up. But for me, somebody that was parked in between the lines, like I did nothing wrong. I was really taken aback by some of the comments out there that said that I did. So, wow, okay. But with anything that blows up on social media, whether it be a video, a photo, or something, you are going to always get a mixed bag of comments, and I'm ready for them. I'll deal with them. I ain't afraid of nobody. I ain't afraid of opinions, and I like the discourse. But when I see something that just doesn't sound right, that doesn't sound good, I will talk about it, and I will say, I don't know. I don't think that's your opinion is valued, but that doesn't mean your opinion is correct. But I thought I would just hop on here, take you on this ride with me here for a little bit, and explain that video a little bit more in context. But hey, if you feel like you still have a problem with what I did, feel free to put it in the comments, and we'll continue to talk about it. I'm all for discourse, whether it's good or bad. Keep things clean in the comments. Try not to be ugly or derogatory. I don't put up with derogatory comments that make no sense and that are just attacking and malicious. But I'm open to opinion. So feel free to leave a comment. Continue to talk about this. Whether you think after I explained it if I was still in the wrong, feel free to comment about it. I'd like to hear from you. But thanks for all the love, guys, out here. I'll be posting another video here pretty soon about one of my backs before I went on home time. So I'll post that here pretty soon, and a lot more of the videos will probably be more frequent as I go forward here as we get towards the holiday season. Right, it's going to be fun. So I'm almost at my 1 year anniversary. I'm just about to hit my 11-month anniversary, so it's crazy to think about. But we'll be doing a lot of things here in the future, but I appreciate y'all guys joining me on here. I'm going to continue driving here in the darkness, and we will go from there. Y'all have a good night, guys. Keep the metal side up, rubber side down. Love y'all. See y'all down the road.